Good morning, friends. It's time for Bible and Coffee. I forgot to post yesterday's reading on Telegram and X. Sorry about that. Anyway, today is day 87. I've got my Bible and I've got my coffee, which is running a little low. All right. For day 87, March 28th, we're going to go through Joshua chapter 18 through 19, verse 48. And we're going to be talking all about the land allotments. So, the allotments of the remaining land. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see if I am able to get through this a little easier than yesterday. All right. Division of the rest of the land. The whole assembly of the Israelites gathered at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The country was brought under their control, but there were still 7 Israelite tribes who had not yet received their inheritance. So Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Appoint 3 men from each tribe. I will send them out to make a survey of the land and to write a description of it according to the inheritance of each. Then they will return to me. You are to divide the land into 7 parts. Judah is to remain in its territory on the south, and the tribes of Joseph in their territory on the north. After you have written descriptions of the 7 parts of the land, bring them here to me, and I will cast lots for you in the presence of the Lord our God. The Levites, however, do not get a portion among you because the priestly service of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance on the east side of the Jordan. Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave it to them. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua instructed them, "Go and make a survey of the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will cast lots for you here at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord." So the men left and went through the land. They wrote its description on a scroll, town by town, in 7 parts, and returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord, and there he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their tribal divisions. Allotment for Benjamin. The first lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin according to its clans. Their allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. On the north side, their boundary began at the Jordan, past the north slope of Jericho, and headed west into the hill country, coming out at the wilderness of Beth Aven. From there it crossed to the south slope of Luz, that is, Bethel, and went down to Ataroth Adar on the hill south of Lower Beth Horon. From the hill facing Beth Horon on the south of the boundary, turned south along the western side and came out at Kiriath Baal, that is, Kiriath Jearim, a town of the people of Judah. This was the western side. The southern side began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim on the west, and the boundary came out at the spring of the waters of Nephtoah. The boundary went down to the foot of the hill facing the valley of Ben Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim. It continued down the Hinnom Valley along the southern slope of the Jebusite city and so to En Rogel. It then curved north, went to En Shemesh, continued to Geliloth, which faces the pass of Adumim, and ran down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. It continued to the northern slope of Beth Araba and down into the Araba. It then went to the northern slope of Beth Hoglah and came out at the northern bay of the Dead Sea at the mouth of the Jordan in the south. It was the southern boundary. The Jordan formed the boundary on the east side. These were the boundaries that marked out the inheritance of the clans of Benjamin on all sides. The tribe of Benjamin, according to its clans, had the following towns: Jericho, Beth Hoglah, Amek Kaziz, Beth Arabah, Zemaraim, Bethel, Bethel, Avim, Perah, Ophrah, Kephar Ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns and their villages. Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Kephirah, Mozah, Rakim, Erpeel, Terlah, Zelah, Haleph, the Jebusite city that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath, 14 towns and their villages. This was the inheritance of Benjamin for its clans. Now we've got allotment for Simeon. The second lot came out for the tribe of Simeon according to its clans. Their inheritance lay within the territory of Judah. It included Beersheba or Sheba, Moladah, Hazar Shul, Bela, Ezim, Eltolad, Bethel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hazar Susa, Beth Labaoth, and Sharuhin, 13 towns and their villages. I told you guys I was going to totally not pronounce things correctly today. Yesterday was a challenge too. Let's continue. Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashen, 4 towns and their villages, and all the villages around these towns, as far as Baalath Beer, Ramah in the Negev. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the Simeonites according to its clans. The inheritance of the Simeonites was taken from the share of Judah because Judah's portion was more than they needed. So the Simeonites received their inheritance within the territory of Judah. Now we're going to talk about allotment for Zebulun. The third allotment came up for Zebulun according to its clans. The boundary of their inheritance went as far as Sarid. Going west, it ran to Maralah, touched Dabbesheth, and extended to the ravine near Jokneam. It turned east from Sarid toward the sunrise to the territory of Kisloth Tabor and went on to Daberath and up to Japhia. Then it continued eastward to Gath Hefer and Eth Kazin. It came out at Rimmon and turned toward Neah. There, the boundary went around on the north to Hanathon and ended at the valley of Iftah El. Included were Katath, Nahalal, Shimron, Adalah, and Bethlehem. There were 12 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of Zebulun according to its clans. Now we've got the allotment for Issachar. The fourth lot came out for Issachar according to its clans. Their territory included Jezreel, Kisulath, Shunim, Hapharaim, Shion, Naharath, Rabith, Kishion, Ebez, Ramith, En Ganim, En Hada, and Beth Pazez. The boundary touched Tabor, Shahazumah, and Beth Shemesh, and ended at the Jordan. There were 16 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the tribe of Issachar according to its clans. Now allotment for Asher. I have people named Asher in my family tree on one side. The fifth lot came out for the tribes of Asher according to its clans. Their territory included Helkath, Hali, Beaton, Akshaph, Alamelech, Amad, Mishal, and Mishal. On the west, the boundary touched Carmel and Shehor, Libnath. It then turned east toward Beth Dagon, touched Zebulun and the valley of Iftah El, and went north to Beth Emek and Nil, passing Kabul on the left. It went to Abdon, Rehob, Hammon, and Kanah as far as Greater Sidon. The boundary then turned back toward Ramah and went to the fortified city of Tyre, turned toward Hosa, and came out at the Mediterranean Sea in the region of Akzib, Umma, Afik, and Rehob. There were 22 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the tribe of Asher according to its clans. Now we're going to talk about the allotment for Naphtali. The sixth lot came out for Naphtali according to its clans. Their boundary went from Heleph and the large tree in Zaananim, passing Adami Nekeb and Jibneel to Lakum and ending at the Jordan. The boundary ran west through Asnath to Bor and came out at Hukok. It touched Zebulun on the south, Asher on the west, and the Jordan on the east. The fortified towns were Zedim, Zer, Hamath, Rakath, Kinnereth, Adama, Ramah, Hazor, Kadesh, Edrei, En Hazor, Iron, Migdal El, Horem, Beth Anath, and Beth Shemesh. There were 19 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali, according to its clans. Now allotment for Dan. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan according to its clans. The territory of their inheritance included Zorah, Eshtaol, Ir Shemesh, Shalabin, Ajalon, Ithla, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Eltekeh, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Ben-Barak, Gath Ramon, Me Jarkon, and Rakan, with the area facing Joppa. When the territory of the Danites was lost to them, they went up and attacked Leshem, took it, and put it to the sword and occupied it. They settled in Leshem and named it Dan after their ancestor. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the tribe of Dan according to its clans. And that was a challenging read today, just like yesterday, but it's interesting that we're given all that. That concludes today's reading for day 87. Please like and subscribe. If you like it, it gets the word out to more people. Really appreciate it. Hey, I see Bonnie in there too. I'm going to just share her comment. This section is showing us Israel's borders go to the Mediterranean Sea. So they are, yes. So yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yep. Israel is the name God gave to Jacob. That's right. That's right, friend. So thank you for joining. Please be sure to like it. And then we will see you tomorrow for day 88. Have a blessed day, friends. Bye-bye.